So Maria, welcome to our team here at Rangam. It's so good to have you as part of our expansion team across EMEA, and generally really excited to bring your specialties, expertise into the business and see how you can kind of help us grow. So first off, it would be great if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Well, thanks, Emma, and I'm delighted to be here. Predominantly, I've worked in the technologies industry across a range of roles in commercial, operational, delivery, recruitment, and community management across different industry sectors in large organisations and high growth startups. But D&I has always been a big interest for me, initially around addressing the gender balance in tech, leadership roles, and I've supported women in tech initiatives on a voluntary basis and ran professional development and mentoring programs. I've been a board trustee for a prominent Scottish charity, addressing diversity on boards through training and mentoring individuals across different backgrounds to serve on boards. And about 6 years ago, a close family member of mine received her autism diagnosis. And after struggling through school and experiencing that on a personal level and seeing the associated poor mental health as a result of not getting the right support because she wasn't diagnosed, she left school, and there's been challenges in her finding the work that plays to her strengths. And that's been a real struggle for her in terms of getting into the workplace, despite having great talents on offer and really wanting to work. And, from that experience, since that diagnosis, I've sought to find out more about autism and neurodiversity and the workplace. And I've connected locally with groups and other parents with similar struggles and young adults, and with their young adults with latent great skills that were struggling to get meaningful work. So really sort of understanding the sort of challenges in that area. And that's really sort of spurred me on to get more involved in the area of employment development and help others similar to my own sort of family situation to help them. And I had the opportunity a couple of years back to join a global social enterprise that employed tech autistic talent and was involved in designing and delivering autism and neurodiversity awareness training to companies. And there was a real interest from employers on how they could really bring neurodivergent talent to address the skills gap, and really wanted to know more about that. And that was a project that was funded by Scottish Government. And when that project finished, I helped them establish the development and commercialisation of that training programme within the business. And then a fantastic opportunity came up with Rangam as part of their global expansion team, supporting the EMEA region, which I jumped at, and I'm delighted to be part of the team. But on a personal level, as I say, I have 2 daughters in their early 20s. I'm married, have a very much loved dog, and when I'm not at work, I love exploring the Scottish countryside. I'm based in Edinburgh with my family, and I enjoy yoga, kayaking, cycling, and just being outdoors as much as possible. So I hope that gives you a little bit of background there, Emma.
Absolutely. It sounds amazing. Your experience is incredible and will be so invaluable to the team and the global expansion piece for Rangam. So I suppose it'd be great if you could tell us a little bit about your role here at Rangam and what your role is designed to hopefully support us to achieve.
Well, the role at Rangam enables me to get closer to clients by working hand in hand with them to create that supportive environment for individuals with neurodifferences, physical disabilities, and mental health conditions, and helping them to thrive to do their best work and be their authentic selves. And we offer that through this SourceAbled program. And for why I do this and is because some individuals may have experienced prejudice or have encountered barriers to gaining employment and retaining work because they weren't supported due to a lack of understanding within organisations previously, or maybe prejudice from colleagues or line managers, and not being given the potential to achieve their full work to the best of their ability. And if you just look at autism, the full-time employment rate is just 16% in the UK for adults working. So many individuals do want to work, and there's a latent talent pool there that could really help address the talent gap and that there is within companies. But the good thing is companies are starting to see that contribution with individuals that can bring different strengths to their projects and increase innovation and productivity. But in terms of how we work, I could be working, it's very much a consultative, holistic based approach that we work with. I could be working with clients by providing, as I say, that whole consultative approach. We'd be working closely with their HR, recruitment managers, line managers, or working with their ERG networks, really to sort of understand their current work environment, what support is already in place, and how we can help support increase that inclusive hiring and sort of making recommendations there. And we also help them by widening their talent pipeline by recruiting candidates from our SourceAbled program who potentially would have been excluded from the traditional hiring sort of program. But in terms of the sort of SourceAbled sort of services that we could provide, in terms of supporting employers, I could be educating our clients right at the start, providing insights and understanding around autism, neurodiversity, or disability in general, always through the lens of building understanding, acceptance, and recognition of different strengths. And from there, we can provide training around inclusive interviewing, implementing the appropriate supports and accommodations so that they have the knowledge to enable individuals to work to their potential. And we can also help our clients to build their own ecosystem of buddies, allies, and mentors within their own organisation. So, leveraging their own support so that they can expand that support within the business and recruit even more talent. But as a team within Rangam, we work very closely together across our solutions, our delivery, recruitment, learning and development, client support to ensure that we have that joined up approach internally to support our clients at whatever stage they are at, in terms of developing their own inclusive environment. But if you look at the hiring process, our program enables us to support candidates during the recruitment process, but also help the client ensure that they provide that supportive environment so that the talent can work to the best of their abilities. And if a client is taken on, then we support the client's line manager and team and the candidate to work well together through training and regular coaching and follow-up sessions. And we're always there to provide suggestions and help to make that process and communication a lot easier for both parties.
Wow. So not a small role then, Maria.
No,
You've got
taken quite a bit there.
an expansive role. And I think one of the things that you mentioned there that I think is so important for employers, and one of the elements that you do is the ecosystem, because that really helps businesses create sustainable employment and
Absolutely.
sustainable models
Yeah.
within the business. And for me, and I know for you as well, that's the whole purpose of inclusion. If
Yeah.
we're going to work towards inclusion, businesses need to be able to feel confident in taking these programs forward themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, based on those two, what you do and your past experience, what made you really want to join Rangam? What was it about Rangam that kind of excited you about
Well,
getting on
the
board?
aspects that I liked about the opportunity to work with Rangam was being able to work more closely with clients and the opportunity to help more individuals facing employment barriers, which is kind of important to me on a sort of personal level. I have the opportunity to make an impact in areas, as I say, I'm passionate about and help change people's lives in a positive way, even if it's in a small way in terms of the work that I do. And the whole ethos of Rangam is that empathy drives innovation, and the organisation really takes that to heart in terms of ensuring that the workplace culture internally reflects that. And it's a brilliant place to work. We've got diverse colleagues from different cultures, different backgrounds, neurodifferences and disabilities. And that really brings a different perspective and strengths to the working environment, but also brings that lived in experience and that richness to the advice that we can give to clients. And I really enjoy the opportunity to work as part of that global team. We're all very big on collaborative working here to solve problems, innovate and grow, and ensuring that we can deliver the best solutions to our clients and provide that real best experience to our candidates. So we're very much focused on that outcome, but working collaboratively as a team. And those are the things that I really enjoy.
And I guess that brings me to one of the final questions here is, if any employers, businesses, job seekers out there are listening to this, what people probably think is we've come across many different organizations that aim to increase employment opportunities or deliver some training. So it would be good, like, what is it about Rangam's SourceAbled program that really, from your point of view, sets us apart from different providers, or might offer something different that other providers may not be able to?
Well, some of the things that I've seen already that sets us apart from other inclusive hiring providers is that ability to provide that holistic workforce solution. And that's based on 25 years of traditional recruitment hiring experience, as well as over 5 years of delivering inclusive hiring programs through our SourceAble program to global clients. So from a client perspective, they only need to have one point of contact for their hiring solution, whether that's traditional hiring or working with their D&I team to support some of their objectives around widening the talent pool. So it makes it easier from that perspective for the client. We have internal online platforms that have been designed not only to support the traditional recruitment process, but also support our SourceAble candidates through the hiring process too. And within SourceAble team at Rangam, there's 70% of the team who are neurodivergent, and 100% have connections with supporting family members who have neurodiverse conditions or other disabilities. So that, as I say, there's a lot of real insight and understanding in terms of that richness of experience that we all experience from a personal level or working with our colleagues as well. So it's really sort of, walking the talk or
Yes.
talking the walk, I should say.
Yeah.
Um, and we can offer companies a variety of hiring solutions. That could be direct hiring, fixed term contracts, contingent hiring, where we support our candidates through the project. And then we can, and also we can hire across different business functions at all different levels. So it's very, very broad in terms of what we can provide. But our key aim is to ensure that our SourceAble candidates are fully embedded within the client teams, within their existing team structure, rather than separating them out into sort of different sort of work streams. We really want them integrated, so that is, provides that really inclusive sort of solution.
So what would you say to employers if about how our SourceAbled program could support them to develop an inclusive approach to the hiring and retention of neurodivergent candidates?
Well, we support employers and we can develop that end-to-end holistic solution. So, right from attraction, hiring, onboarding, supporting, retaining talent. And as I say, that's across individuals that could be neurodivergent, have mental health conditions, or have other disabilities. It's very wide reaching. And our initial approach is really to understand the client's current work environment and the inclusive processes that they've put in place, and work with them to embed best practices where it's needed. So it's not completely reinventing the wheel, it's really augmenting what they have in place and enhancing that with our best practices into their hiring and retention programs. And that can be through our training and advisory services. We can train key stakeholders within the business in terms of how to work well with our SourceAble candidates that eventually come onto their business, but also help them build their own ecosystem of mentors, buddies, and allies to ensure that their existing workforce is supported and the candidates that we provide to them are supported well beyond the hiring process. So it's really enabling them to become independent and be able to expand out those solutions. And we also can provide advice and recruitment and training around their recruitment and onboarding processes, working with their talent teams and recruitment teams as well. And a big part of the work that we do with our clients is to ensure that the accommodations are in place. They really understand about the workplace environment, and accommodations are set up right to support candidates and their own their own talent within their organisation as well. And with regular reviews with our client line managers, as well as coaching our candidates, we continually assess and ensure the candidates are supported and working potential. So we're working on both sides to ensure that that environment is there. And a key part of our role is to continually monitor and evaluate the success of the programme, and continually getting that feedback from the client and also from our candidates to ensure that our services are continually evolving and improving to get that best experience. But our ultimate aim at the end of the day is to ensure that the client is confident and independent in building out their own inclusive workforce, and we're there to support them to do their best work.
Brilliant. And that brings me really nicely, when you mentioned candidates there, to the other element of the SourceAbled programme, in terms of how it supports job seekers and other service providers, to support them in terms of getting those job outcomes. So when I talk about service providers, that might be a university, it might be a charity, it might be a community interest company. But how would you describe the benefits of SourceAbled to those groups and job seekers?
Well, in terms of, our SourceAbled candidate registration system enables job seekers to register with us. We always follow up each registration, spend time to get to know them, and understanding what strengths they can bring to the role and their aspirations and what they enjoy doing, and advising them on potential roles that could be of interest that match their aspirations. Once a potential role has been identified, we always approach the candidate first and check if they're interested before approaching the client. And we will work with candidates to ensure that their CV represents the best version of themselves and help them prepare for the interview process, working with the employer to ensure that they can provide as much information as possible to the candidate, and the accommodations are put into place. So they're fully briefed on the process and the questions they may be asked, but also supported in the environment in that interview sort of situation. And this could be directly working with candidates, or it could be a candidate that wants the support of a job coach or PA support with them. So it could be working with both of them as well in that process. But we ensure that our candidates are kept up to date with the process and provided with valuable feedback if they're unsuccessful in gaining the role. And if they are successful in gaining role, then we work with the client and the candidate to ensure the environment is set up, and we support them to carry out that role. So it could be some training with the team, an orientation on the team member that's joining them, and we organise regular reviews and job coaching as needed, which could range from anything from 6 months up to 18 months, to support the candidate and the employer so that they're successful in the role. And for individuals that are taken on in a contract basis or fixed term basis, we're often able to find them other roles. And our current redeployment rate within the business is 80% for our existing external contract staff. So that provides some reassurance that if you've worked in a role and that's been successful, we can help you find sort of other roles within the business. So we already have an extensive network, as I say, you mentioned, Emma, with education establishments, industry disability groups, talent providers and employment groups and apprenticeship providers. And it's really what we're trying to do there is to educate them about how we work, and the sorts of roles and the sorts of positions that we can help their potential people that, with individuals that they're working with, and help them sort of promote that to their sort of, as I say, individuals that they're supporting, so that they can be a channel to help people get into work. So I hope that sort of explains it.
Absolutely, that's a great explanation. So I imagine then, Maria, you would welcome anyone getting in touch with you to find, if they want to find out more about Rangam, about SourceAbled, whether they're an employer, candidate, job seeker, talent provider, university. So what's the best way for people to connect with you? How might people get in touch to find out more?
Well, I can give you my email address is mhamilton@rangam.com, or just as I say, connect with us on the Rangam website as well. My details will be up on the Rangam SourceAbled website. So those are the best ways to get in contact, and I'd be delighted to support, as I say, any individuals that are interested in going and being a candidate for us, or we can provide some training and awareness training in terms of how we work to our support providers, our talent support providers. So please do get in touch, and clients, please do get in touch and find out more. I'd be delighted to have a chat with you.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Maria. It's wonderful to chat with you, and I'm super excited to
Yeah,
see how the business grows over here. So thank you again.
thanks, Emma, and yeah, we enjoy working with everybody at Rangam and making this a success.